Did you know that 30 to 40% of people that take the real estate exam actually end up failing the exam? Well, in this video, we're going to go through 5 hacks you can use to pass your real estate exam the very first time you take it. Let's dive right into the video. My name is Chris with the Empire of Real Estate YouTube channel. On this channel, we talk about real estate, personal finance, and entrepreneurship. Before we get into all the 5 hacks that you can use to pass your real estate exam, I want to offer you our free How to Get Licensed and Start Your Real Estate Career Guide. If you want to get your copy, there's a link down in the description below where you can download it. Okay, so the very first hack that I would use if I were taking my real estate exam all over again is I would use something called time blocking. Now, time blocking is a very simple process. And what you want to do is you want to block out an hour or two every single night, Monday through Friday. And if you want to be really dedicated, you can add in Saturday or Sunday. And I would only time block an hour or two. You don't want to burn yourself out. It gets to a point where you're going to get diminishing returns and you're not going to retain any of the information that you're actually studying. So the thing I would do is I would time block, say from 6 to 7 o'clock or 9 to 10 o'clock, whatever works for your schedule. And I would put this in your calendar, and every time that time comes, I would sit down, I would study, and I would try to retain as much information as possible. Now, studying can be a wide variety of things. You can do textbooks, you can use different resources online that I'm going to get to later on in this video, or you can use things like flashcards. So all these things can be great tools to help you retain as much information as possible, because this exam is a closed book exam. And it's important to retain as much as you can, because when you go take the test, you're going to be sitting in a testing center and you have to just pass the test with the knowledge that you have in your head. So making sure that you time block an hour or two every single day can be a huge game changer. And I would do this for at least 2 weeks. So put aside 2 weeks to put together your studying and really retain and go over as much information as possible. I wouldn't do much more than 2 weeks, because a lot of people get stuck in the trap of just studying, and they never take the exam. I know people like this personally, and they still don't have their real estate license because they never signed up to take the exam. So you don't want to wait too long, but you want to give yourself enough time to really study and retain as much information as you possibly can. The next tip is to use study tools. Now, there are so many study tools out in the market today, and back when I got my license, I had to search around and find the perfect tool for me. So study tools can be a powerful thing. And study tools can be things like flashcards, or they can be things like test-like simulators that help you study, and they're a lot more interactive. So if you sign up with a good real estate school, they should offer things like flashcards and different resources to help you study and retain as much of the information that you're learning as possible. So if you're still looking for a good real estate school, I highly suggest you check out Colibri Real Estate School. They offer these classes online, which makes it super convenient, and they have different add-ons and different things you can purchase with your real estate classes that will increase your odds of success. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, there is an affiliate link down below in the description where you can find different sales and discounts. The next tool is a tool that I use to pass, and it's called Prep Agent. And Prep Agent will put you through test-like simulations, and it really built my confidence up to really give me that confidence to schedule my exam. So Prep Agent will take you through these test-like simulations, and it will give you instant feedback on whether you're passing or you're failing. And when you do fail exams in Prep Agent, it gives you detailed explanations as to why you're failing the exam, which I found super helpful, because studying is one thing, but you really don't know what you don't know until you sit in the testing center and then you get stumped. So having something that was very test-like and put me through that simulation really helped me, and it helped me build my confidence. So when it was time to take the exam, I sat down and I was ready to go. The next tip is to get yourself in the right headspace mentally. So taking the exam can be stressful, and all that stress can make you nervous. And when you're nervous, you can sometimes overthink things and cause yourself to fail when you really already know the knowledge. So doing the steps that I mentioned before will help build your confidence levels and help decrease some of that anxiety that you're going to get when you're taking the exam. So if you can get yourself in a good headspace, maybe before the exam itself, you eat a really good meal, and then before that meal, maybe you did a really good workout, get some of that nervous energy out, and that will help you increase the odds of passing because you're going to be a lot less stressed out and you're going to be able to think a lot more clearly. So the next step is to focus on key topics. So in the real estate exam, you're going to have different sections and different questions that relate to real estate law, real estate financing, relationship disclosures, and fiduciary interests, and all that kind of stuff. So I would block things off and really focus on the questions that you know the most. So spending time trying to figure out a question that you really don't know the answer to can really make you feel stumped, and it can really block your flow when you're taking the exam. So if you come across questions that just you don't get them or you don't know the right answer to, I would skip them. I wouldn't submit an answer, and then I would go on to the next ones. And then once you warm up and you kind of get into the flow with things and you finish answering all the questions that you do know, you might want to circle back around and then focus on those questions that you just weren't sure about. So when you do this, this will definitely help you. And what you can also do is, as a little bonus tip, is I would do something called the process of elimination technique. So this technique is basically eliminating certain answers that totally don't make sense. So if you're looking at multiple choice question and it has 5 different answers or 4 different answers, and you're like, okay, out of all these answers, 2 of them or 3 of them make no sense whatsoever. I know 100% that this is not the right answer. I would cross those out in your head. Don't do it on the paper because then they're not going to be able to grade your test because it's done with a computer. But what I would do is I would get rid of those, and then I would focus on the ones that are most likely the right answer and then choose from there. So that will help you and give you a much higher odds of actually selecting the right answer if you really don't know. But hopefully you do know because you spent all the time doing the last tips that I mentioned in this video and you have no problem getting through all the questions. Last but not least is to manage your time. So the good news is the exam is a couple hours in most states. So there's no need to rush through it. The people that rush through the exam are more likely to fail, because they're rushing, they're nervous, they're just answering things, they're not reading the questions fully. And honestly, I've come across questions on the exam that were super tricky. And they don't do this to trick you. They do this because they want to make sure that they're issuing licenses to people that actually know the content. So they might throw something on the exam that, you wouldn't be able to answer unless you really took the time to study. So making sure you reread each question a couple times before you submit your final answer is very important. So make sure you do that because you're going to finish the exam early in most cases anyway. So taking the time to reread each question 2 or 3 times will make a huge difference because there are quite a few questions on this exam, but people finish early. And even if you do this, you're going to finish early. So there's no need to rush. There's no need to stress. And by doing this, you're going to increase your odds of passing the exam. So let me know in the comment section below, what questions do you have about passing your exam this year and what things are you struggling with? So drop that in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And if you just passed your exam, then drop that in the comment section below as well. I definitely want to hear the good news. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like other videos about real estate, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We come out with useful content for real estate entrepreneurs on a weekly basis. Thanks so much for tuning in and you have a great week.